Hey guys, I'm going to go over some of the basics of filling out supplier data. As you can see, I've got Anderson Beam pulled up here, and it'll start you on the company info screen just like this. You're going to want to make sure you have the address and the basic information in here, of course. Any contact information you want to put in, that's up to you. The main email here is something you definitely want to enter. When you enter information, you have to make sure you hit edit. Yeah, I know it sounds silly, but you do. Okay, put in your email address there you want to send the POs to. That's the main one. There are other email spots in here, but this is the one that you want to use to send the purchase orders to your recipient, and that's where you put that in. Okay, any other stuff down here is up to you. This is the important part. You're going to want to put in your terms here. And you fill out your terms in another spot, which I can show you later in this video. And you'll pick like 30, 60, 90 or net 30 for most of them probably. I'm not sure what you guys have there. So anyway, you can fill that out real quick, and that'll be the default for all of your purchase orders. So you don't have to fill it out every time you do a purchase order, which is nice. Then you can put in your minimum order amount if they have a minimum. This will also what will happen here is when you're making a purchase order and you have that filled out, if you haven't met that minimum, it'll set an alarm. A little flag will come up and say, hey, you're not at the minimum order amount. Same thing with the free freight level. These are just little flags that will come up if you haven't met these parameters and you've set them up. When you're making a new purchase order, if you're below the free freight or below minimum order, it'll say, hey, add some more stuff. And you don't have to, that's up to you, but at least you'll know where your minimums are so you can try to meet them. Now, when you're setting out the order method here, this is for purchase orders versus drop ships. So in purchase orders, you're typically going to be like emailing, and then if you check email, for example, you're going to need to pick an email template. And I think, let's see here. If you type in PO, it'll automatically come up to po-email.txt. That's going to be the default template for purchase orders. That should work great for most everything as far as when you're doing an email PO. And you can't put an email PO into these other fields here. If you are going to do a fax or you're going to do like a printed one, this is mail, right? You're probably not going to mail off a PO, but you could use that as another method if you wanted to. And so if you wanted to switch this from email automatically, which is already set up, ready to go, to like print for mailing, you can just click that. It'll ignore what's in here, so you can just leave that for next time if you want to switch back. And then you'll need to fill out this mail template here so that you can, it'll basically tell the system what you want to print out or how you want to deal with that. And there's some options there. So we can talk about that later if you do have POs that you want to print out and not electronically send. And I believe if you leave it blank, it should just print it out, which probably will work for most of what you're doing. So you can test that on your end. If we need to change something, we certainly can. If you want to do a BCC, send a copy to Alex of every, maybe this is a special vendor and you want to have Alex get a copy of all these or somebody else. The BCC is for that. It's just an extra carbon copy of all the POs and drop ships. Whatever you do, it'll just send an extra copy to that email address there. If you want to put in a default shipping method, you can do that here. And sometimes I'll actually put in I don't know if there's another space. I haven't found it yet that they have to list your like UPS number. If you guys are having them use your UPS number, then you can put that in there. Like, you can pop in UPS and then XO, whatever number might be, and then it'll pop up on all the POs. So your vendors will have that readily available, especially if they have a new person that comes on or something, then they'll be able to see that right away. They're supposed to use your UPS number and they'll figure it out and make it happen for you. And with the drop ships, that could be, I'm pretty sure that's what you guys are doing on the drop ships. So that'll be really handy there to make sure that they do use your UPS number. Okay, so drop shipping is the same thing as the purchase orders. Typically, you're going to do email automatically for the most part and make sure this is filled out. And there's a default one. If you want to have something special in there, you can, but this is the default one, and I believe this is also the default. So if you don't fill that out, I believe it defaults to that. we're not going to fill this one out. And I think what it is, I'll show you the default, would be dropship email. That's the one we've been using. Once we get the PDF one working with the new version of StoneEdge, we can use that one. It'll send a PDF as well, which is really nice. But for now, we're just going to use this one. And like I said, if you don't have that filled out, it's okay. It's going to actually bring that up as a default anyway, because I have it set as a global default for you guys, and I've tested that. So that's working good. Okay, so if you do have, with the drop shipping, if you do have some vendors you're doing B2B on, you can do the print for mailing, and then it will go ahead and allow you to, it'll probably just print it off. You do want to double check that on which printers it's going to print on and all that stuff. And you can select it to hardwire to a specific printer if you want to. So it's just going to print off, then you can go and deal with it. And then when you're doing that, I would suggest also circling back and putting in the confirmation number that you've done it in the actual PO. So there's all the reference information there that you know that you guys contacted the vendor in case they goof up. You'll have that for records and to kind of cover your own behind there. Okay, so now let's look at where are these templates? Where are these located? And actually there is, let's show you here, get out of the PO screen and not save. Okay, so you go to the wrench and you go to email template editor here. And then you have a whole list of all your POs here, or sorry, all your email templates for various things that you're going to email your customers or vendors about. And we're going to pick email, we're going to stick purchase. It's going to be, let's see, drop ship. There you go. Drop ship email. This is the one that I've kind of customized for you guys just a little bit. This is pretty much boilerplate, but I customized a couple things in here for you guys. And if you want to see what it looks like, you can hit orders. Oh, that doesn't work because it's not an order. So let's do a PO. It should give you, let's see, what's the drop ship? Let's take drop ship. Well, that stinks. Let's see here if we can. There we go. Okay, cool. So I forwarded through. You can kind of, this is forwarding through your data up here in the top right. And I found one here. So we've got, this is what it's going to look like when it has data filled out in it. This is what you'll see. This is what your supplier is going to get, and this is with the data filled out for an old one that we've already sent a long time ago. You get the idea. Okay, so you can actually go in here and change fields. There's all your fields here, and you can add them as you want. And then you can also do HTML version of this if you want to. And I think there's probably one. Here you go. Here's an HTML version in here. You can see how this works. HTML start. So it's starting the HTML code right there. And see, it could put in your logo right here, which it hasn't yet. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me grab your URL. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put in, right now, that's just generic text in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put in company URL right there, or actually your image URL. And that's from your guys' website on your front page. I just grabbed that location, popped it in, and your company name is filled out in your company data, and that's just a field that's going to populate with whatever company that you happen to be sending from. And you guys just have the one company here, so it should say Online Boot Store or something when it comes up. All right, let's go ahead and test it here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and test it, and we're going to click on orders to test it with order data. And it came up with an error. I don't know, there's some early orders in here that have an error or something. I don't know why that would be, but I'm going to go to the last order by clicking this top right arrow here. And okay, cool. This is what we would send to our customer. Hey, thanks for ordering. This is the most common email that you would send to them. It's a confirmation type email from StoneEdge when you're processing their order, and you can customize all of this text however you want. And what I'm going to do here, see it has text or HTML. I'm going to click on HTML, and now we can see that logo that I popped in there for you guys. So it'll display that on your email, so it's more personalized. Just a quick, easy fix there. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some of the other templates here. So here's the other dropship template. If you guys want to change that, you can. The other one I think is the PO email template. And you can kind of see what I'm getting at here. You can update these as fields, or you can update just plain text if you want to do that, as well. Just type in a message to your customer or a message to a vendor, or whatever. You can customize all this stuff. And you can have more than one if you want to use a different one, especially for dropships. If you have a vendor that when you're doing their dropship that they need specific information, or they haven't been alerting you as much as other vendors. With tracking numbers or something, you could put, hey, send us tracking numbers when this ships in bold, if you want to, at the top of it or something. So you don't want to be rude, to your other vendors and do that, but maybe you want to do it to this one, or however you want to customize your message to a particular vendor with the information that you're sending in the template. You can do that. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and get out of here. And this is the email template, right under maintenance, email template editor. That's something you guys definitely got to take advantage of here. I see there's not many other emails in there, so we could talk about that, or you guys can just make your own emails, of course, customize some for yourselves. All right, so now let's do we're going to do list maintenance. List maintenance has a lot of stuff in there. This is where you can set up your payment terms. So let's do some right now. Net 30. That's pretty common. How about net 45? How about net 60? And we could do due on receipt. Cool. So those are some real basic ones we'll just put in there for you guys. And then if you go and let's go back and create a PO real quick. And let's do, I don't know, let's do Keen again. I like Keen. All right. And actually, we're not going to, let's do this. Multi-select. Go Keen. And it's just going to show us all these items. Let's pick a couple here. So we'll pick this guy. Here we go. We're making a PO here, and let's just take a look at terms, and I want to show PO here. So we're going to terms, and now we have these as a selection here. But we want those to pop up. We don't have to select that every time. I'm just kind of showing you what happens if you don't have it selected in the template. So let's get out of here. And we're going to no delete work. We don't want to save that. All right, so what we do is we want to change Keen to net 30 because we know those guys are using that payment structure. And just go to purchase order options, hit edit, and they're all there. And you can just type it right in because you know what you want. Any of these you can type it in and then hit Alt down arrow. That'll work on most Windows programs. Alt down arrow is a great little hotkey for any of these kind of drop downs like this. It works for emails, all this stuff. So anyway, Alt and then down arrow. Okay, so we're going to check net 30. And I'm not going to save this. You guys get the gist of it. It's going to present that on all of the POs for Keen as a default at that point, which is handy. And then that will actually transfer through to QuickBooks when you're downloading through to QuickBooks at some point. All right, there you go. Let me know if you guys need anything else, or if you have any questions on this.